Welcome to the Transum Podcast, a monthly roundup of the new features on the transum.org website, providing mathematical puzzles, games, learning activities, and the ever-popular mathematics lesson starter of the day. Here's your host, John Tranter.
Hello and welcome to podcast number 93. I've literally just got back from my summer holiday, and I spent it on an island with a very strange weather pattern. It rained on 12 days that I was there, but luckily it never rained for a whole day. Rainy mornings were always followed by clear afternoons, and rainy afternoons were always preceded by clear mornings. There were 15 clear mornings and 7 clear afternoons in all. How long was I on holiday? Okay, that's your puzzle of the month. For August 2022. That's what this podcast is all about, the month of August. And you'll have to wait until next month's podcast when I will reveal my most efficient method for finding the solution to that problem. Well, I lived it, but yeah, you can also work it out from the clues that were given. But if you do figure it out before then, please let me know. Now, you might be on holiday too, particularly if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and you might fancy a low-stress activity to while away the hours, but before you invest in vibrantly coloured balls of wool, practice your curve sketching skills with this brand new online activity. It's the computer version of the craft that I first tried when I was in primary school. I can vividly remember punching holes in card and then using a needle and thick thread to produce these designs, all made of straight lines, but the way they come together, it looks like curves, and that's why it's called curve stitching. The new Transum online version gives the instructions in quite basic mathematical language, but it does include terms such as multiple, difference, and sum. So it's something that students can have a go at, thinking mathematically and producing these fabulous designs. Now, Mathematical Pi, I don't know whether you've heard of it, but it's been around for as long as I can remember, and that's quite a long time. It's published 3 times a year and is aimed at pupils from 10 to 14 years of age. But it's actually read by all age groups. Each issue contains a variety of problems and challenges, stimulating mathematical activity, and is published by the Mathematical Association, the UK Mathematical Association. I was excited to know that the Summer 2022 edition would feature a Transum activity. So congratulations to Equatro for finally making the big time. Now, there was not a huge amount of new material added to the website during this last month, mainly because I spent part of it on holiday, as I've already mentioned. But despite that, as well as curve stitching, I did write a new set of exercises called Ratios versus Fractions. And it was my attempt to fill a gap in curriculum coverage when I had realised that I had nothing to match the national curriculum statement. Pupils should be taught to relate the language of ratios and the associated calculations to the arithmetic of fractions and, wait for it, linear functions. So I've got that activity written now. The links to all these things I'm talking about can be found at transum.org/newsletter. Perpendicular Parking is the latest addition to the Strategy Games collection. If you haven't seen the little collection of strategy games, it's in the games on the games page. And they're games that, well, they're not strictly mathematical in terms of school mathematics, but they are very worthwhile pastimes, encouraging players to develop winning strategies while having great fun at the same time. So it's called Perpendicular Parking. It's not to be confused with the Car Park Puzzle, which has been on the site for many years and continues to be very popular. Right, now on my holiday, one of the things I do is spend some time, or particularly on the driving bit, listening to podcasts. and I heard one of the very funny comedians, I think, at the moment, Tom Allen, talk about his recollection of maths at school.
And then eventually, when you've done enough of that, then you get to go, of course, to secondary school, don't you? Secondary school, and that's where you get to learn really interesting things at secondary school, isn't it? Like, you get to learn about novels in English, and you get to learn about, like, proper grown-up maths, don't you? Or math, as they say in America, don't they? Math. But we do it more than once. And I remember learning things like Pythagoras' theorem. Do you remember that? Pythagoras' theorem. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA. It's a thing. I'm not just having a stroke. SOHCAHTOA means sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. I mean, now, as an adult, looking back, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, if they spent maybe half an hour, or even just like 10 minutes, really, just 10 minutes going, this is a pension scheme. This is how you fill in a tax return, and this is how you get over a broken heart, and this is how you tell an estate agent.
Very good. That's Tom Allen, hilarious, and glad that he remembers maths with so much fondness.
You can find Transum Mathematics at www.transum.org.
Okay, last month's puzzle was about an old-fashioned set of balancing scales, and I have 4 different weights marked in pounds and can weigh any object with an integer weight in pounds from 1 to 40 pounds. What could the 4 weights be that allow me to do this balancing? So the first person to send me the correct answer was Jonathan from California, who commented that the 4 weights were 1, 3, 9 and 27. Well done, Jonathan. I also heard from Rick Blair, who wrote, I'm an engineer and not a maths teacher. I first discovered your podcast doing some random searches and thoroughly enjoy the monthly puzzle. My answer for the July 2022 puzzle is 1, 3, 9 and 27. Ironically, they are all powers of 3. Now, Rick went on to give me some timely advice on how to improve the accessibility of the site, so I'm very grateful to Rick for that. So, if you figure out the answer to this month's puzzle, do let me know. Otherwise, the podcast will be back in a month's time on the 1st of September. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your August, whatever you'll be doing. Bye.
Thank you for downloading and listening to the Transum podcast. You can find the website at www.transum.org, where you're welcome to use all of the activities absolutely free, or jump in with both feet and become a Transum subscriber.